Okay, it's Andy Graham of Hobo Traveler. I'm in Lomé, Togo, West Africa, and I thought you might enjoy these children walking. I don't know what they're doing. It's like noontime, so they're probably going somewhere for school. School's kind of always a controversy here. I mean, when they're in school and when they're not in school. Bob D, Ann Arbor, Michigan, asked, strategies for dealing with bullshitting cultures. Where's the biggest bullshitters? And define. They make up some story instead of telling you the truth. Hard to say which one's the biggest one. I think they're all biggest ones. I've sit there and quizzed Latinos sometimes in Central and South America, trying to get them to just tell me yes or no, and they just keep coming like. Well, I did it in Buenos Aires. I came up with, I wanted to know the directions to an internet cafe. And they set a record at 21. The former record was in Ecuador for 11. They give you directions. Go down the street, turn left, and blah, blah, and they give you the wrong directions. I think Bob is particularly prone to wanting to know about India. He really... Bonsoir, comment ça va? I think he's been to India, and the India culture has a, I don't know what they do. They got an annoying methodology, a little more. I mean, Latinos are just sort of like happy and telling you the India people are better salesmen, right? They come across like they're doing you a big favor, and they come up and nothing comes out of their mouth that's honest sometimes. And it's all to do with losing face and things like that. Basically, anybody that's asked a question doesn't want to lose face, and they want to answer the question, do it. I mean, I see this really bad in expat communities, where you ask an expat where a cheap hotel is, and then he goes on to tell you about a $200 a night hotel that's supposed to be cheap, because he just couldn't come up to say, I don't know any. But you know, the expats are quicker to say, I don't know. I don't know if anybody here in Africa, Central America, Asia. In Asia, I guess I would say Thailand's not so prone to, but you know, they got the Thai lie, okay? It's tough. Americans, one reason why you don't realize Americans are doing it is because we know how to bullshit somebody and cover it up, and they don't really know, you know, you have a more plausible way of bullshitting. What's amazing here is we're a little more strict in our thinking, and we don't just let bullshit fly as quick as what they do in America. That's not true. America, we're very strict, and we want our bullshit to fly over, and so we're more congruent in it and whatever, right? But I was a real estate broker, and people, I mean, the excuses they would come up with on why they didn't show up for an appointment was just wonderful. I mean, they were just creative, horrible. Basically, though, if they came up with an excuse, I cut them loose as a client and accidentally forget to ever have an appointment with them again, because you want functional people in your life. Okay, which culture is the biggest bullshitters? I haven't ever been in Nigeria, but I think they're probably the champions. India's champions. I'm absolutely always amazed at women, how many ways they can say tomorrow, next week, somewhere else. The cruelty of bullshitters is kind of a question. I mean, cruelty is, there's cruel bullshitters that could care less about the fact that you're, I mean, this is one reason why I don't bullshit when I'm trying to tell you the facts here. I don't want you to spend $2,000 and come to Africa and find out it's something different than I said. I had an unfortunate thing happen. Bonjour. Bonsoir. I had a real unfortunate thing happen when I was in Ecuador. I was staying in the Grand Hotel, and one of my readers, this is like, golly, 13, 14 years ago, wanted to know if the girls were beautiful. And I said, yeah, the girls are beautiful. Are the girls kind of easy? I said, yeah. And what I realized many years later is what he was talking is what some kind of whoremonger slang. And he literally went to Quito, Ecuador, and stayed in that hotel thinking that I was talking about some secret thing. He was talking about his Thailand motorcycle. Like I'd never been to Thailand, right? I was just a backpacker. I didn't know anything about this group of men that did this stuff. And he went there and he said, yeah, the girls are beautiful. Yeah, the girls are friendly. And he was obviously very angry at me because I didn't understand his agenda. And that's where I say, if you got an agenda, you better tell me, because I can answer the question honestly and you think I'm talking in code. I'm not. Bullshit cultures, all of them do it. What you don't realize is in America, America is the champion of giving bullshit answers. I mean, they just make them plausible, right? The Germans make them more plausible. And our willful blindness, we in our own culture, when somebody's lying to us, we know they're lying and we just don't, we kind of ignore it because it's culturally normal. But when it's so obvious in India that they're lying to us or they're giving us a bullshit answer, it just sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, in Africa, they're the worst bullshitters on the planet. They are so transparent that they are not telling the truth that it's almost impossible to get caught up in one. When one of these missionary groups gets caught up in them, or somebody gets, oh, my sister got robbed twice, and my sister-in-law got, no, sister, my niece got robbed a couple times, I think in Tanzania. You know, it was just obvious that she was so naive. Really, bonsoir, you really got to start your travels out on a, I'll try to walk down the street and give you a view of what I'm looking at. You really got to start your travels out slow, and you got to start out in a culture that's not radically different. That's why I talk about after Europe. Europe is just, you know, 5% different than America. Guatemala is, you know, 35%. You know, China, oh, that's about 65%. Africa really is not that high. It's only like 40 to 50%. But the overwhelming of the senses, because it just never stops, is the problem. So bullshit cultures everywhere. Bonsoir. But you don't realize it because in your own culture you just have willful blindness and you ignore it. You see me getting really tough with readers and people trying to tell them to give me their name and telephone number, not their telephone, their name and where they're from and stuff like that. Why? Because when they got an agenda, it's hard to answer the question honestly because I don't know what their agenda is. If they just tell me I'm looking for this, this, and this, it's so much easier than when they work their way around. But everybody on the internet, anybody talking on the internet, I would say it's 75 to 90% bullshit. The travel writers, 95. It's amazing how much bullshit comes out of travel writers. They got this audience that 99% of them are not going to go there, and the 1% never becomes a majority to say the guy's full of shit, right? This is why I do this guerrilla marketing. I want you to know exactly what I'm looking at. I don't want to play games. I don't want you to think anything with it. So I turn the camera on. I show you what I'm seeing. This is skull coming out. They're looking at the screen right now. Now you got to understand, like I'm working on a malaria project. Any one of these uniforms would pay for a mosquito net. And all of them have them. None of them get out of it. But it's a difference of priority. Hey! Coiffé! Okay. But this is why I strongly recommend that you start demanding that hotels give you videos and show you the room and stuff. They don't cost anything and they can do it. They just got to turn on their iPod. Hey, what's the tubing? Pourquoi? Toi c'est swag? Swag? Oh, swag is a term of being fashionable. Oui. This is like a food area next to the Catholic Church over here. And what's really nice is some of the best and cheapest food is right next to the Catholic Church. So where do they bullshit the most? I would say Nigeria. Any English-speaking African country, not the French ones. They're not as good at it. Hey, that's Chinese. Hear the kid? Say it. They're trying to say hello in Chinese because there's so many Chinese people. What you got to learn to stop bullshitting is this. You got to look at body language and ignore what they say. Body language, when the person's looking down, looking around, hey, it tells you something. If you're not willing to man up, look them in the eye, you're going to listen to a lot of bullshit and buy it. But I assume when anybody's mouth's opening overseas that they're bullshitting. The only ones I don't get it from is a lot of Germans. Germans are the least bullshitters. They just enjoy being annoying, provocative. Switzerland. Okay, I'm getting surrounded, guys. I'm going to have to get out of here. Too many kids around and I can't concentrate, right? Okay, so India is huge. And what you got to think about is certain cities. Any big city is full of bullshitters more than... I'm not Chinese, pas de chinois. Okay, I've taken you guys into the middle of the children. This is my life. This is my life. This is what I do every day of the week. And standing in one spot with a camera is just an invitation for them to come. India's huge, but you got to understand the way you avoid the bullshitting is no more than about 2 months, because after 2 months you fully understand the culture and you start realizing every minute they're bullshitting and it becomes too obvious. So you move on to the next culture. Otherwise, culture fatigue kicks in. It's a term came up like Stanley something from the Peace Corps. Culture fatigue is when what you expect doesn't happen, something else happens. You don't want culture fatigue, and you don't. So really, the solution is simple: don't go more than about 2 months. But you know, I usually go until I'm tired of taking pictures, until I've got culture fatigue. In the last 2 weeks, I'm bored out of my brain or angry. Quoi? On va entendre.